Salam satu Malaysia, salam sejahtera, Vanakkam. Today we're going to look, and today going to be our last chapter of agriculture entrepreneurship. So we're going to look into this chapter will be focused on accessing resources for growth from external sources. So last chapter we already talked about how to expand your growth, how to manage your growth in terms of firm, in terms of human resource, in terms of financial, and etc. So today we're going to look into accessing resources for growth from external sources. So as a basic rule of thumb, let us look into our learning objective. The learning objective of the chapter will be to understand franchising from the perspective of both the entrepreneur looking to reduce the risk of new entry and the entrepreneur looking a way to grow his or her business. To understand how joint venture can help entrepreneurs to grow his or her business and acknowledge the challenges of finding and maintaining an effective joint venture relationship. To be aware of the pros and cons of using acquisition to grow a business and to know what to look for in acquisition candidate. The discussion also will be further to understand the possibility of achieving growth through mergers and leveraged buyouts and challenges associated with each. The last learning objective it will be to understand the task of negotiation and develop the skill to more effectively conduct this task. Franchising is an alternative way an entrepreneur may expand his or her business by having others pay for the use of the name, process, product, service, and so on. Other external options include joint venture, acquisition, and mergers. Franchising. Definition of franchising. Franchising is an agreement between the franchisor and the franchisee. Advantage of franchising is the entrepreneur does not have to incur all the risks associated with starting a business from scratch. The franchisee usually enter into business that has an accepted name, product or service. The franchisee does not have to spend resources establishing the credibility of the business. That credibility already exists based on the years of existence of the franchise. Another advantage is the managerial assistance provided by the franchisor. New franchisees are required to enter a training program to educate them in all aspects of operating a franchise. Some franchisors require their new franchisees to actually work with an existing franchise owner to get on-the-job training. Most franchisors offer managerial assistance to owners on a needs basis. The training and education is an important criteria in evaluating any franchise opportunity. The franchise offers an opportunity to start a new venture with upfront support that can save the entrepreneur's time and capital. Some franchisor will conduct location analysis and market research of the area. The franchisor may also finance the initial investment, including a fee for the franchisee, construction costs, and purchase of equipment. The layout of the facility, control of stock and inventory, and potential buying power of a franchise operation can save the entrepreneur significant fund. Purchasing health care and business insurance may be easier since the entrepreneur would be considered a participant of the entire franchise organization. Monies are pooled by individual franchisees for advertising and sales promotion, allowing advertising on both a local and national scale. So by now, student, you know what is franchising business. For example, KFC, the simple Kentucky Fried Chicken, McDonald's, Secret Recipe, Pizza Hut, Domino's, all food outlets. Maybe I'm hungry right now. Honda, Toyota, Mitsubishi. What else? There is many example. So maybe later you can share with me some franchise business example. Thank you. A franchisee business offers years of experience in the business and knowledge of the market. This reflected in a plan that details the profile of the target customer and the strategy that should be implemented. Franchisor can provide advice and assistance to accommodate differences in competition, media effectiveness, and taste. Most franchisors will constantly evaluate market conditions and determine effective strategies. Two problems in starting a new venture are maintaining quality control and establishing effective managerial controls. The franchisor will identify suppliers who meet the quality standard. Standardization in supplies and services provided help the entrepreneur maintain quality standards. Administrative controls, usually involving financial decisions, personal issues, are outlined in a manual. An entrepreneur who is considering selling a franchise will need to offer all the above service in order to succeed. Advantage of franchising to the franchisor: expansion risks. The most obvious advantage is that you can expand a venture quickly with little capital. The capital needed to expand nationally is much less than it would be without franchising. The value of franchise depends on the to-date track record of the franchisor and on the services offered. Operating a franchised business requires fewer employees than if the business were not franchised. The size of franchise company means that the franchisor can purchase supplies in large quantity, achieving economics of scale. In a way, there is a cost. I'm talking about cost advantages. For a franchisor, there will be a lot of advantage on costing part. The size of a franchise company means that the franchisor can purchase supply in large quantity, achieving economics of scale. Some franchise produce parts and raw materials in large quantity and sell these to the franchisees at lower prices. A big cost advantage is the abilities to commit larger sum of money to advertising through an advertising pool. Let us look into disadvantages of franchising. Problems between franchisor and franchisee are common and have received attention from the government and trade association. The disadvantage to the franchisee center on the inability of the franchisor to provide services, advertising, and location. When promises made in the franchise agreement are not kept, the franchisee may be left without support. The franchise may face the risk of franchisor that fail or is bought out by another company. A franchisor also incur risks. The franchisor may find it difficult to find qualified franchisee, and at the same time poor management can lead to individual franchise failures which reflect negatively on the entire system. Type of franchise. There are three types of franchise available, but variation exists. Dealership franchises. Manufacturers use franchise to distribute their products line. The dealers are required to meet quotas set by the manufacturer, but they benefit from the support provided by the franchisor such as McDonald's or Holiday Inn. The most common type of franchise is the type that offer a name, image, or method of doing business. A third type of offers services such as tax preparation companies. Recent franchising opportunities have evolved because of change in the environment such as good health and emphasis on keeping fit, time saving or convenient, so lot of 3-in-1 stuff food product, healthcare, organic produce, and the second baby boom. Let us look into investing a franchise. Franchising involves many potential risks to an entrepreneur. So to avoid this risk, you have to investigate the franchise before you want to buy the business. Unproven and proven franchise. An unproven franchise will be less expensive, but the lower investment is offset by more risks. The unproven franchisor is likely to make mistakes as the business grows. However, a new franchise can offer more excitement and can lead to opportunity for a large profit. A proven franchise offers lower risk of failure but require a substantial financial investment. Some information can be obtained from profit and loss statement. It may be worthwhile to contact some of the franchisees directly. If financial information of the franchisor is unavailable, the entrepreneur may purchase a financial rating from a source of such. Other sources of information are franchise association, government, accounts, lawyers, franchise directories, and journals and business exhibition. A simple starting point is to take a map of the community and try to evaluate the traffic flow and demography of the area. Direction of traffic flow is entry and amount of business may be estimated from observation. Market research in the market area is very helpful. The franchisor may conduct a market study as a selling point. It is important to develop a pro forma income and cash flow statement, and franchisor should provide projection in order to calculate the needed information. Most information is provided in disclosed statement. Front-end procedure fees, royal payment, and expenses should be compared. The entrepreneur may request a franchise package from a franchisor for a deposit. The contract of franchise agreement is the final step in establishing a franchise agreement. This contains all the specific requirements and obligations of the franchisee. Renewal terms, financial requirement, and termination requirement are stipulated in the contract. Let us look into joint venture. With the increase in business risks, hyper competition, and failures, the use of joint ventures increased. A joint venture is a separate entity involving two or more participants as a partner. They involve a wide range of partners, including university, business, and the public sector. Type of joint venture. The most common type is that between two or more private sector companies. Some joint ventures are formed to do cooperative research. Industry university agreement for the purpose of doing research are also increasing nowadays. So two problems have kept this type of venture from increasing even faster. A profit corporation wants to obtain tangible results such as patent from its research investment, and university want to share in the returns. The corporation usually want to retain all proprietary data, while university researchers want to make the knowledge available. Joint ventures between university and corporation take many forms depending on the parties involved and the subject of the research. International joint ventures are increasing rapidly due to their relative advantage. Both companies can share in terms of earning and growth. The joint venture can have low cash requirement. Also, the joint venture provide ready access to new international market. Such a venture causes less drain on a company managerial and financial resources than a wholly owned subsidiary. There are drawbacks in establishing international joint venture. The business objective of the partners can be quite different. Cultural differences can be create managerial difficulty. Government policies sometimes can have a negative impact on the venture. But normally the benefit usually outweigh the drawbacks. Let us look into the factors in joint venture success. The critical factor for success are the accurate assessment of the parties involved and how best to manage the new entity. A second factor involves the symmetry between the partners. The expectation about the result of the joint venture must be reasonable. The timing must be right. A joint venture should be considered as one of many options for supplementing the resources of the firm. Let us look into acquisition. An acquisition is the purchase of a company or part of it in such way that the acquired company is completely absorbed and no longer exists independently. Acquisition can provide an excellent way to grow business and enter new market. A key issue is agreeing on a price. Often the structure of deal can be more important to the parties than the actual price. The prime concern is to ensure that the acquisition fit into the overall direction of the strategic plan of the present venture. So let us look into the advantage of acquisition. Sorry guys, I can't really pronounce it. The advantage in terms of establishing a business, the acquired firm has an established image and track record. The entrepreneur would only need to continue the existing strategies to be successful. In terms of location is already established. Marketing structure. The acquired firm has its existing marketing channel and sales structure. With this structure already in place, the entrepreneur can concentrate on expanding to new target market. The actual cost of acquiring a business can be lower than other methods of expansion. Existing employees, talking about existing employees, the employees of an existing business can be an important asset. They know the business and can help the business continue. Employees already have established relationship with customers, supplier and channel members. More time can be spent assessing opportunity to expand or strengthen the business. Of course, advantage, when we look into the advantage of acquisition, definitely there will be a disadvantage. Disadvantage of acquisition will be managerial success record. Most venture of sales has an erratic or even unprofitable record. It is important to review the records and meet important constituencies. Even though the entrepreneurs bring new ideas, the venture may never be successful for a reason not possible to resolve. Managers are often overconfident about their ability to overcome cultural differences between the current business and the one being acquired. Often when a business change ends, key employees also leave. In a service business, it is difficult to separate the actual service from the person who performs it. Incentive can sometimes be used to assure that the key employees will remain with the business. If the entrepreneurs ask to pay too much for a business, the return on investment will not be acceptable. The entrepreneur will need to establish reasonable payback to justify the investment. Lack of synergy is a frequent cause of equation failing to meet goals. There are many techniques for structuring an equation which having advantage to both the buyer and seller. The deal structure involves the parties, the asset, the payment form, and the timing of the payment. Two most common means of equation is the entrepreneur's direct purchase of the firm's entire stock or asset, or the bootstrap purchase of this asset. In a direct purchase, the entrepreneur often obtains funds from an outside lender or the seller of the company. The company is repaid over time from the operation cash flow. The entrepreneurs can make a bootstrap purchase, acquiring a small amount of the firm for cash. He or she then purchase the remainder of the company with a long-term note that is paid off over time out of the acquired company earnings. There are professional business brokers operating similarly to real estate brokers who represent the seller. Accountant, attorney, bankers, business associate, and consultant may be aware of good candidates. It is also possible to find opportunities in the classified section of the newspaper or trade magazine. A merger is a transaction involving two or more companies in which only one company survives. A merger requires sound planning by the entrepreneur. Merger objective must be spelled out with the resulting gains for the owners of both companies. The entrepreneur must evaluate the other company's management and resources to ensure that the weaknesses of one do not compound those of the other. The entrepreneur should establish a climate of mutual trust. The same method of valuing an entrepreneur's company can be used to determine the value of major candidate. Let us look into leveraged buyouts. A leveraged buyout occurs when an entrepreneur uses borrowed fund to purchase an existing venture for cash. The purchasers need a large amount of external funding. The capital needed usually is in the form of long-term debt financing, with the asset of the firm being acquired used as a collateral. The repayment plan must be in line with the expected cash flows. How to determine whether a company is good opportunities for an leveraged buyout. The entrepreneur must determine whether the present owner asking price is reasonable. Subjective evaluation should be made of the competitiveness of the industry, the stage in the product life cycle, and the abilities of management are considerations. Quantitative techniques are also needed, such as price-earning ratio and the present value of future earning of the prospect. The entrepreneur must assess the firm debt capacities, which depend on the business risk and the stability of future cash flow. The entrepreneur must develop an appropriate financial package to meet the needs to fund providers as well as the entrepreneur. How to overcome constraint by negotiation for more resources. There are two primary tasks for entrepreneur: negotiating with another party for access to an external growth mechanism. The two tasks are distribution tasks and integration tasks. Let us look into integration tasks. Making a pie bigger increases the likelihood of agreement being reached. Collaboration is more beneficial than a conflict resolution approach. Negotiation requires the use of strategies to gain more information during the negotiation interaction. Assessment that need to be made. Assessment 1. What will you do if an agreement is not reached? The answer represents the entrepreneur's best alternative to negotiated agreement. This best alternative helps to determine a reservation price for the negotiation. Assessment 2. What will be other party to the negotiation to if an agreement is not reached? If entrepreneurs know the negotiating partner's reservation price, he or she has a good idea on the bargaining zone. Knowing the partner's bargaining zone lets the entrepreneurs negotiate an outcome that is largely beneficial to the entrepreneurs and only marginally beneficial to the other party. Assessment 3. What are the underlying issues of the negotiation? How important is each issue to you? Assessment 3. What are the underlying issues of the negotiation? How important is each issue to you? Aspect by trading off aspect of less important. Assessment 4. What are the underlying issues of the negotiation? How important is each issue to the other party? By understanding more about the other party, the entrepreneur has a better opportunity to achieve integration. If this information is known to both parties, then it's likely that the outcome will be mutually beneficial. This awareness requires strategies to get information from other party. The following strategies are tools in this process. Entrepreneurs must experiment with different strategies to find which one work best of the current negotiation. Strategies to elicit information. The first strategies will be to build trust and share information. Achieving the best negotiated outcome requires both parties to have information about each other underlying issues and their relative importance. When you're releasing information, it requires a trust. Both parties need trust element in negotiating process. If possible, the entrepreneur should assess the other party trustworthiness. Strategies 2 will be ask a lot of questions. Asking questions provide an opportunity to learn more about the preference of the other party. Even a non-answer might provide some information. Strategy 3 will be make a multiple offer. There can be numerous possible offers based on combination of different level of different dimension. The entrepreneur can make multiple offers constantly. This can help determine which issues are greatest important to the other party. The strategy 4 use differences to create trade-offs that are source of mutually beneficial outcome. Differences between the parties provide opportunity to reach an integrative agreement. Guys, we already end of this chapter and let us sum up. I hope you all understand what is franchising, what is equation, what is major, what is leverage buyouts, okay, leveraged buyouts. Okay, this type of business normally help the end entrepreneurs to expand their business, expand their wealth. So let us look into recap, look into the learning objective. I really hope students understand the process of franchising, the advantage of franchisor and the franchisee as well, and understand the challenges of involving in franchising business, in joint venture, in major and leverage buyout, as well as the student understand the disadvantage of that mentioned type of business. So I want to conclude the chapter, definitely giving you a task and task in a group where you can find information about 3 joint ventures that were failure, and be prepared to discuss the underlying reason for the failure of each venture. Why they fail, Besides that, I want you to interview 3 franchisees to better understand their relationship with the franchisor. So with this assignment, I hope you all understand. You all will have better understanding on this chapter. Thank you very much. I won't see you again. This is our end of the chapter. And thank you for your cooperation. Thank you for your attention. I'm really hope that this module will make you as an agricultural entrepreneur or create an agricultural entrepreneur. Signing off, Nalini Armugam. Vanakkam.